in a massive way. For our relationship today, we'll be looking at why it's important to celebrate anniversaries. Those of you who conveniently forget when it's time for anniversaries, this is the time for you to bring out your books and your pens to take notes. I have with me sisters from Sister, Livy and Ceci. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How are you both doing?
Good.
Happy anniversary, first of all.
Thank you.
Any messages you want to share for City at 3 before we start our conversation?
Wishing City well, lots of interesting, productive ideas, and live long, and continue to be pace setters.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I am very happy to be a part of this premier family.
Aww.
I'm so excited to be affiliated to City somehow. So I wish City all the best. They are doing a great job. The sky is the limit. Beyond the sky is the limit.
Amen.
You have pace setters, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. And we're glad to have you as family members as well.
Yay.
Now, our topic today, anniversaries and relationships. Livy, let me start with you. How important are they?
It's so important because anniversaries anniversaries actually pin, how do I put this? It makes you remember. Anniversaries are very important because it sort of brings your mind to the realization that there's special days that are very, very important that you set aside to remember something very precious to you. Mm-hmm. It could be anything to do with love. It could be maybe somebody died. It could be something great that happened at work. It could be graduation. So there are very important days that are set aside to celebrate or to mourn or to remember very important things in your life. So I think it's very important to place a lot of importance on anniversaries.
Okay, Ceci, what kind of value is it, especially for people who don't necessarily celebrate it? How important is it for them to understand when their partners are those kinds of people who want to put dates to events and would want to celebrate in a special way?
Okay, so first of all, anniversaries don't just have to do with couples. We have, like Olivia said, like the death of a loved one. Yeah. It helps you to remember what this person meant to you and what you can do to keep the memory alive, because definitely there are good memories. Yeah. So anniversaries, when we come down, we zero into couples, not only married couples, we have people who are dating or courting. It's very important for you to remember because it helps you to remember how far you have come. You reflect, you are able to project into the future how you can make things better. It helps you to reconnect with each other because sometimes the pressures of life, especially when it comes to the married couple, when the kids have come in, you are struggling with school fees, you are running all over the place. There's a routine. You wake up in the morning, you are off to work, you are back late. Charlie, it's stressful. So you need to be able to take that time out. At least that is an excuse to take some time out, take a back seat, and try to reflect on why you did this in the first place and what you can do to make it better. So I think it is really, really important that we take these into consideration.
Olivia, where do we start from? Is it when you first meet? Is it your first days? Is it when he asked you out, when you waited for like 1 week to say yes? Which dates do we actually use when we're celebrating?
That's actually a good question. I think that it should start from, well, we start ours from when we actually got married.
Oh, nice.
But we always count back to when we met. And we know that we can't kind of remember the exact date, but we know the month in which we met. So we celebrate each milestone when it comes, and it doesn't have to be big, and that's what I want people to know. It's about the connection, and it's about acknowledging the love that you guys have in the relationship. At some point in time, life happened, especially with me. I decided to take like a long time off work just to birth my babies.
Wow.
And it just meant that inflow was coming from only one side. Yeah. So happy on the day, nothing over the top. And you have to be understanding and you have to appreciate the situation in which you are in. He initially started with a text message.
Aww.
you know, and he knows that I love when you give me shortbread and malt.
That's it.
Charlie.
You're not high
He
maintenance
brought
at all.
me my
Shout
shortbread
outs to women who don't
and
ask
malt.
for too much.
You know, and I was happy. So and at the time, I was very appreciative because, you know what, he took time to reflect and he remembered that this is my woman. I went out of my way to ask her out and she said yes. And the fact that I said yes is a blessing, and the fact that he asked me was also a blessing. So it has to be hand go and hand come. It doesn't have to be something that's over the top. I feel like we put too much pressure on our relationships, and we need to understand the main essence or the beauty of what the entire anniversary stands for. So like little things. Definitely, like when you have money, that one day you can go over the top, you can book a hotel, you can
Just blow the money.
you can blow.
blow.
But the most important thing is that you acknowledge that something beautiful happened on this day. Therefore, I want you to know that I appreciate you and I'm looking to go on a bit more with you. So for men who intentionally decide to forget, like the fact that I'm saying shortbread and malt doesn't mean that you should go and buy shortbread and malt for your wife.
Or your
You know,
girlfriend.
she might like watching. It's
Yeah.
the little things I feel that women kind of connect to, and it's the thought process that really counts. So yes, that's what I think.
And speaking of what Olivia just said, how important is it to also take into account your partner's love language when you're deciding to celebrate your anniversary?
Yeah, it's really, really important, okay? Because sometimes the love language might break your bank, but there are other things that, because me, for
Mine
instance,
is food, for instance.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Any food is good.
exactly. A good meal, a good bottle of wine. I love wine. I love my wine. So even if you don't have money, Charlie, you just go pick up a bottle of wine. Yes, I don't have a lot, but
Red or white?
red, please. So then rouge, s'il vous plaît. So you just go like, okay, I don't have a lot, but this is what I got for you. It is the acknowledgement. And it's not so much about the gifts as it is about the fact that you have remembered.
Yeah.
You have remembered. That is the key word. You just need to acknowledge, remember that something beautiful happened. I'm not so big on, I'm not, okay, maybe I am big, maybe my husband isn't. Yeah, okay. So yeah, it's work in progress. Sometimes you have a partner that is not so big on it, but
Is it the anniversaries you're talking about?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So he's not really too big on it. So if you have because I'm not big on anniversaries as well. So if you have a partner who's not big on it, how do you bring them along without them feeling like it's a chore? Like, now we got to go do this.
I know. It's that's why I said it's work in progress. Maybe you should get him to understand what the importance of it is, because life happens.
Yeah.
You get soaked up in everything, then you forget yourself, you forget your well-being, you forget how to make yourself happy, because you are busily making everybody happy. The kids, because everything is about the kids. Now when the kids come in, everything is about them. Maybe you are just a couple that are courting, maybe it's about school, you want to do your PhD, you want to do your master's. It's beautiful. You want to advance in life, but don't forget the little things, the important things, because after that master's, after that PhD, you still come back to family. Okay? You are doing it for them, but you are not doing it for them.
True.
You understand? So life happens. So let's take time off, from all that stress, and then give yourself a break.
So Olivia, how do we do this practically? Like, and how refreshing is it for the partners involved as well to really take that day to look at each other, to remember how far we've come and where we are?
I think it all starts from day one, during the courtship process. And you have to be emphatic, or you have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to be, I can't find the word, but anyway.
It's okay.
But
so our
we have to
anniversary
be
day.
intentional. Okay. That's the word I'm looking for. You have to be intentional about what makes you happy and about the anniversaries in the beginning. Because in the beginning is when you're all lovey-dovey and everything is important to everybody. Everybody wants to look good. Everybody wants to smell good. Everybody wants to be like, put their best foot forward. So it's during that time that you let your partner know that anniversaries are very important to me. It's an opportunity for me to show you how much I love you and you to reciprocate that. And it's an opportunity for us to acknowledge what we have together as a couple. So while the relationship grows, it progresses. So you take it one day at a time. That thing about you, or that importance associated to anniversaries will resonate a lot more with your partner. You can't, first anniversary goes by, nothing happens for you to remember, and then all of a sudden 10 years down the line you decide to get obsessed with your husband and go like, yo, you I've been married for you, like we didn't celebrate our anniversary. Yo, we look at you and go like, hey, why are you being overly...
Since when did we start doing this?
You see,
you're going brand new
like,
now.
You know, exactly. So it all starts from day one. You could start, and if you started late, you could start, especially
so if
women.
you started late, how do you do it?
You can send a text message, or you can look him in the eye. You set the ball rolling.
Okay.
Okay. If you're a woman and you're a guy, I would do this. This is what I'll do. I'll set a table or buy wachi. I don't like to make people look at things like so.
There shouldn't be money to it.
Money, you know, because when you
experience.
do the money, you sort of take away the essence. It has to be about the simple things. And once you make your partner appreciate the simple things, they know that you can progress. So you do simple, then you increase, you sort of step it up. So for instance, you can either start by buying wachi, call your partner and say, my dear, do you remember that today was the first day we met? Yeah. Or do you remember, you know, we got married on this day? I realized you forgot to, but I've done something, so come home at this time. You know, so it's about love. It's how you communicate. And then he sees it. And then after the whole thing, you tell him that, oh, my dear, this is how I would have wished for you to treat me, because in the beginning, you came toasting me. You came reaching out to me. And I sat back, reflected, and I decided you are the one I want. So some people will ask, why does it always have to be the man? Why does it always have to be the man? It has to be the man because you were sitting somewhere and he came. And women like to constantly be assured and reassured that you love them. You know, it's like any company, it's like any brewery. There's one brewery, I don't want to mention the name and give them airtime. The product in that bottle here is the same product. But you see, they go through so much trouble. Today, they change the shape of the product. Tomorrow, the bottle of the product. The next day, they change the labeling. It's just a way of sort of refreshing, innovating, and adding spice to the whole idea of, this is the product, but I want your attention to be on the product. This is what I can do to make you grounded to me. So it's a way of sort of psychologically getting the customer to be glued perpetually to the product. And that's how relationships are. Relationships are the fact that I told you, I love you, you love me, and then we are going on, it's been 10 years, 20, like, yo, you came to toast me, come and refresh it.
But Ceci, how do we do this too without looking like we feel entitled to it? You know, because it should come from a place of love.
Yeah.
It shouldn't come from a place of entitlement.
Yeah, so if your partner is not someone who is so good at that, you take the lead. You lead by example. Okay, so yes, it should be the guy, but you two do something. Let him see what you want him to do. Because people think that what you're asking me to do, you cannot do it. Yeah. But, or even when it comes to money, like women like guys to spend on them and they cannot even afford the things that they want the guys to buy for them. Yeah, sure. So you should be able to afford it yourself before you expect him to afford it for you. So in the same way, take the lead. If he's not that kind of person, you can't really force him without him seeing an example. So you might want to try something in your own small way just for him to know what he's supposed to do. So you just lead by example.
And how do we do it focusing on serving one another and not necessarily you doing it for me because it's our anniversary, but me going out of my way to make you happy and then you go out of your way to also make me happy?
Communication. It doesn't always have to be verbal. You know, you can text your husband, or you can, when he comes home and he's forgotten, you can give him a passionate kiss on the lips and say, my dear, you forgot something. You see, like that.
Should you light candles as well? Like should the
well,
night
when you
be
have
special?
children like I do, I can't afford to light candles.
Oh, come on. But that's something you can do.
Yes, but you can.
Maybe the kids can spend the day with
there are
grandma
these candles
and
that
grandpa.
don't necessarily have to be like fire candles.
Exactly.
They are
Should you do something special
You
on the
can.
day?
You
Because
can.
women can't continue using the kids as an excuse to not spice
But you see,
things up.
sometimes where to go and put the kids, no?
Oh, they can.
I think that the whole point is that you should be able to communicate what you want, verbally, non-verbally, in different ways, and it all has to be done tactfully and with love, and not overly exaggerated, and because then you take away the pressure from the men, because the pressure is just too much. Like Ceci was saying, if you can't buy a 4x4 for your boyfriend on your 50th anniversary, don't expect him to buy that for you. Like, you should know your relationship, and you should know where both of you are at, and you should know that, oh, I'm at a point whereby I can go over and extremely, like over and above what I do for this person to let them know that I love them. And there are times whereby, oh, she would love Wachi or something, and then
So
I can do
how
that.
do we get to a point where the
I'm a
men
lover of
actually
Wachi.
initiate? Because I feel like this conversation is all about the woman initiating, and some of us are not about that life. So the men that are watching, how do we get to a point where they initiate?
So yes, it's about the communication.
Without us
Don't
leading
be-
through example, no.
Oh, it's about communication. Just tell him, like, you see, it doesn't have to be like, hey, it's our anniversary and you forgot. You're not
And then
romantic.
hinting it and not saying it.
You see-
do you know what day it is?
You know-
How can you forget what day it
Uh-huh.
is?
But you see, women are very detail oriented. Not like the men. That's why you are getting married. They want to give you all those small. That's why they want to just find the DJ,
And
you
you're
know, find DJ, and that's it. The rest of the things, the decor, those things, you are the one who do, because you are the one doing turquoise green and mushroom yellow and this and that. All these details. He doesn't have time.
Yeah.
So we are very detail oriented. That is how we are. Okay. So it's about him trying to learn and learn certain things, because sometimes the indoctrination also is very important, because sometimes the background from which they come. Oh, Charlie, this one is for women. This one is for women. You know, this is just a man's thing.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's the indoctrination. We have to, you know, complement each other.
To add to what she was saying, what you can do is to put a reminder on his phone.
Nice.
A week before, a month before, a day before,
That's a surprise reminder. He'll be like,
an hour
did I set
before.
it? 20
To
minutes
the men
before.
who are 20 minutes
Count
before,
down.
to the men who intentionally decide that they don't want to acknowledge that they put a reminder on their phone. It is impossible for them to come back to you and tell you that, hey, I forgot. Put a reminder, there's a calendar, just, you know, do like a big heart on it, anniversary, our anniversary, like put it everywhere. And that's your way of slowly, but I'm also not asking you to be aggressive about it, you know, but some men genuinely don't remember. Plus they are working, plus they're busy. If they're like big men like that who, you know, they don't have time like that, what you could do is to work with the PAs, you know, work with the PAs. Tell her that, you know, I know my husband will not remember, but, you know, remind him that, you know, I need him or something. But it takes a gradual process. But also remember that it doesn't happen overnight. You can't expect that after how many years of relationship, all of a sudden he'll start acknowledging. You have to set the tone from day one.
Yeah, and I know we're
It
talking
helps.
a lot about like when the relationship started, but also how important it is to just celebrate small milestones. Briefly, because we've run out of time. It's time.
Do you want to take that?
Okay, so like I already said, I had like 5 points. So I'll just run through them. So the first thing is they are milestones. So they need to be celebrated. The second one is it helps you to reconnect. The third one is it helps you to reflect. The fourth one is it helps you to take some time off. And the fifth one is you are able to project into the future and see what you can do. It's like how do you call it? It's like checks and balances as you go along, because you need those. You can't just be living life like that.
Thank you.
It's very, very important.
Yeah.
It is.
Thank you both, Olivia and
Thank
Ceci,
you.
for being
Thank
with
you
us.
for having
It's been
us.
an honor. One of these days, I'll join your sister.
Please
and
do.
We'll have fun there.
Okay, sure.
Happy
sure.
anniversary, ladies.
Thank
Happy
you.
anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Don't go anywhere. We're still celebrating City TV at 3. Keep those messages coming. # Breakfast Daily. WhatsApp line 0550585883. So we're going to enjoy some great music.